Tommy?
All right, go on. How are you?
In London.
All right.
Hey, Tommy, how are you, my darling?
London. Yeah, I'm good.
Are we good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you turn that up, please?
Can you hear me?
It's very faint. You know that? Maybe it's on my end. I can hear you now. There you go.
Yeah, thing. I haven't got my own thing. I'm hoping I'll be able to hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great. I can hear you great.
Excellent. First of all, my apologies from 3 weeks ago when we were due to do this, and then the whole bloody thing went down. How cool was that? No one on their phones for half an hour.
You crashed Instagram and WhatsApp.
That's your job. And also just personally, thanks so much for helping out the way you did across Future Food Stars. That episode is looking absolutely amazing. So thank you.
It's going to be so exciting. When's it coming out?
We're due to come out early 2022. And yeah, I mean, listen, I'm still sat reeling in from the level of talent and those kind of businesses that were sort of catapulted on the back of this, shutdown, the thing that, no one anticipated when everyone started getting somewhat slightly anxious what we're going to do. But as you know, I saw that movement as a sort of, look, we're grounded, but let's plant those seeds and let's start growing again. And so looking at those businesses and just getting behind them, I think that was the most important thing, because it's a stern reminder to how creative the country is, especially in those difficult times. But you were brilliant. And will you come back for season 2, please?
Oh, I'd love to. But talking about getting those creative juices, I think lockdown was really good for creative energy. I felt like the people I knew who kind of worked in any kind of creative industry were kind of fizzing and buzzing with stuff to do, not resting. And you're not a man, so sit around doing nothing, Gordon.
No.
Can you just tell me when you started doing the 10 minutes on YouTube? Because obviously I've been watching them, but when did you actually start doing them? Well,
first of all, lockdown was a gift, if I'm honest. No one's ever said in 25 years, hey, stop. No passport, no restaurant opening, no meet and greets. And I even missed doing the charity work that we do. So that was a bit of a shock. And all of a sudden you start looking at, clap for NHS and what that meant every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Then it was every night, 8 p.m. And then the extraordinary stories that were, taking place. All of a sudden, your business and everything that you built was irrelevant. So you went back right to those sort of humble beginnings, just you and the family. And so lockdown for us was like sort of running a restaurant where nobody went home, because it was like back at the helm, breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. and then all of a sudden, you just can't go to the shops. And we were sort of bunkering down in that beautiful little countryside in Cornwall, keeping a very low profile. And so, I mean, honestly, we'll never get that time back again, ever. Yeah. And, what do? You don't sit on your ass and start whinging. You get creative. It was Tilly's idea to begin with. She said, we should go live. I said, what, you and I together? I said, girl, you're nuts. She said, yeah, I know I am. I'll take it after you. So let's go live. So we started challenging each other, in terms of, she wouldn't let me do any practicing. She said, cook some comfort food. Forget all your posh bits. Forget your 25 chef brigade. Forget anything to do with Michelin star. That's on your car right now in terms of Michelin tire. Let's go live and let's have some fun. So that's how it started. And then we put out a little announcement sort of the day before, and it was just like, oh my God, 50, 60, 70, 80,000. Then it went to 100,000. Then it went to 200,000. All of a sudden, Tilly said, we should do this every day. I said, no, we shouldn't do it every day. Let's just do it once a week, and let's maybe focus over the weekend. So, it was so cool to go live. And you know what it's like in our restaurants. We cook live on a daily basis. So I think the big shock for everybody was how good we can cook in 10 minutes. And we used to challenge each other. If we didn't get that done in 10 minutes, then we're donating more money to the NHS. And so Tilly would purposely, stitch me up across that live segment and, remove an ingredient or turn the gas off or sneak underneath me or do something. And I had Holly, you've got 3 girls as well. And they became this producer, director. They were funny. But the only way I could get them back was mentioning anything to do with their boyfriends. And then I knew I was back in control.
Tilly's become a kind of absolute treasure, hasn't she? National treasure. God, she's mega. I really, I mean, completely aside from the book, just what she came out with the other day, I thought was absolutely brilliant. I was really massive respect for her. Anyway.
No, that's a good point. I mean, listen, you know, it's been a tough one. She's 19 years of age, for goodness sake, busting her ass off and attending uni via Zoom and learning the most extraordinary moves with Nikita. So I think it was a breath of fresh air to see that level of stand up, and we're not going to tolerate that. And listen, you know, it's a very sensitive issue, that whether you're a girl or a guy. And I'm someone that's always struggled with my weight, and so everyone says, how do you keep in shape now? I train. I have to keep fit. We eat all day. We pick. We graze. We're around food 24/7. You know what it's like. And so there's that level of discipline. And if we don't train, then I'd be 350, 400 pounds. So all credit to her. And it made me feel very proud that she just stood up and said, "Hey, I'm not going to tolerate that."
Epic.
Epic. And wants to do that.
But back to this. It is. I think what's amazing about this book is you look at the videos and they are, and the book puts it down so neatly. When you're watching your videos, you're not just doing bish bash bosh, put anything out there. You're really putting flavour on those plates. You're working with great ingredients. You're showing techniques. I mean, what you're teaching people all the time about saving time, hacks. What are your favourite hacks that you think you've got across to people?
Yeah, I think no waste. Growing up with such a humble background, someone said last week, "Mum had a restaurant." We didn't even dream of running or owning a restaurant. Mum worked as a cook in the restaurant, so the food that wasn't sold on the menu that night, Tommy, she brought back and we ate. And then she'd put dinner on the table. We'd get homework done, which we always sort of ignored. And then all of a sudden, Mum's gone again at 8 o'clock at night with a second job as a nurse. So you go back to that basic of respecting foods, and you don't waste anything. And so we're very smart at turning those fridges upside down and creating something. And I'm one of those huge secret admirers, that whole sort of vegan movement, especially with 3 girls, coming from sort of 17, 18, 19 up to 21 years of age. And so eating vegan food doesn't say you have to become a vegan. You can enjoy it once or twice a week. It doesn't have to be. So I focused on a clever utilization of what's available without getting too fancy pants. So listen, it was fast and furious. I know everyone's not going to be doing that in 10 minutes, but playing football with Usain Bolt a couple of years back, and sprinting on the training ground, after training and having some fun. He's running in 9.6 seconds. Of course, I'm not going to run in 10 seconds, but we're sort of 15, 16 seconds, 5 seconds behind him. It's not a lot behind him. It's the same in cooking. So the whole idea behind Ramsey in 10, Tommy, was to sort of give you a platform, make a few shortcuts, have some fun with it. But you know what it's like. Cooking is all about the prep. If you're prepped properly, and you're in that frame of mind, it's 90% of the battle is in the prep, and that's what the secret about this book is, all in the prep.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the way you have your ingredients all out, and you kind of talk through them, and you show people to get ready, and then you start the clock, because then that's real, because there's nothing worse than those books that promise you everything, and then there's all this faff to begin with. You've got it all laid out there, you're showing people how to do it, but also, I love the way, you talk about the texture, and you're not forgetting that chef stuff of look at the color on the plate, look at the texture, look at the flavor. You've got all that going on too.
Yeah, and also it's connecting, isn't it? It's getting that closeness to it. And so, I'm not expecting them to do that perfectly. There's no two ways about that. The second, third, fourth time, you'll see an increase of standard each and every time. So the plate's a canvas, isn't it? And it's not about having food to look pretty. It's about food that makes sense. And where do you draw that line with that level of discipline? And I've always said about, just searing a bavette or a skirt steak or even an entrecôte, the secret's in the resting. Stop worrying about it being piping hot. And there's so many different ways of eating meat, and everyone worries about it being piping hot. Piping hot's the last thing you should worry about. It's about letting it rest and make sure that you respect it. And more importantly, putting those things on a plate. That plate circumference, there's a reason why that plate is, you know, as broad and as large as it is. So use it to your advantage. And it frustrates the hell out of me sometimes. I go into some restaurants, I got food on the side of the plate, and the minute you start eating it, it looks like you've dropped the plate. So I'm not an old-fashioned. I'm just a realist in terms of when it comes to putting food on a plate.
But you have basically, without trying to arslick you, there's that kind of national treasure status, and the fact that in lockdown people were desperate because no one could get into the restaurants, and every, you know, we got this whole culture of eating out all the time, and people were desperate for knowing what to cook, and people are so time poor. I mean, some people, half the nation I felt had loads of time, and then anyone with kids who are doing all their homeschooling were absolutely screwed. So then those 10-minute recipes were kind of a lifeline for some people, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a good point. But also, I think, listen, I could feel the pain. You know, we're dealing with, you know, all the youngsters in the group. We were dealing with them mentally, being supportive in terms of professionally. There's a huge void, don't forget, you know, working 50, 60 hours a week, and all of a sudden it stops in a heartbeat. And so is it starting? Where do I go? How are my parents? I can't get back to my country. And so, it was a sort of a huge nation coming together. I think that was the important thing. And then that breaking bread around the table sort of solidified the importance of what it's like to eat as a family. And all those rituals and values came home very, very quickly before it'd be, you know, Easter, Christmas, Sunday lunch. But all of a sudden, no, it can be a Monday night dinner. It can be a Saturday brunch. It can be a Sunday night curry. So there was this outpouring of back to basics. Everyone started making their beautiful bread and just watching the baking taking place. No wonder, you know, Great British Bake Off this year is so full of talent, because everyone knows the science now behind baking great bread. And so, you know, it was a refreshing stop, if I'm honest. And if I was ever to confirm, it was much needed, especially traveling at 1,000 miles an hour. You know that, because all of a sudden you don't realize how busy you're getting, because these freaking things keep you even busier. And then once you're super busy, you get even more distracted by this thing. So stopping that, pressing pause, and getting back to cooking in 10, 12 minutes. It was fun. I've been asked to do, you know, Ramsey in 20, Ramsey in 30, but I'm not the kind of guy that can go on that treadmill every year and just put a book out. And for me, it needs to be personal, and this is very personal. So I want to enjoy this for now, and I'm having challenges with mates, and they're sending me videos. And also, I think putting that time and effort in to making all those videos for YouTube, so you've got a sort of a live instruction as well as the book. Press freaking play, get yourself a drink, have some fun, and if you can't do it in 10 minutes, I'll give you money back.
Oh, I love that. And what's been the most surprising kind of hit? Because I always find that curious, like, of your recipes, you know, when I'm writing a recipe, some like just completely take off and others, you know, fade away. Yeah. What's been your most like street cred?
Treacle glazed gammon steaks. Now, this is a guy that grew up with gammon and pineapple. I swear to God, and I'm talking about pineapple out of a freaking can, okay? And trust me, at the age of 12, 13, 14, Friday night with gammon steaks, homemade chips with pineapple. So I wanted to put a twist on it. I sent it to Mum. She's not very well at the moment, unfortunately. And I sent it to her. She said, "You're getting too posh, kid. You know, you've got fresh pineapple in there. What happened to the pineapple chunks or the pineapple rings we used to serve you? You used to go crazier at the age of 12. So the burger recipe, the fish and chip recipe. And even if you don't want the chips, just doing that beautiful fish and having it with a salad, again, is just, you know, we know this stuff. This stuff's in our DNA. We've been practicing this shit for 30 years. So chefs are those sort of inbred, sort of selfish natured. So it's one thing I learned to do since winning our 3rd star at Royal Roads back in early 2000. Give it all back. You know, give it away. Give everything you know, everything you insight. And I'm always asked that formidable question. You know, how do you manage to do what you do? I just try to convince people my way of thinking. And every time I travel, see, witness, or get fed a beautiful canapé or a stunning fish dish, I'll dissect it, put my twist on it, and bring it back home. So the biggest inspiration for me over the last 12 months was in Oaxaca. Yeah, man, I was blown away. Honestly, I thought I knew how to make a mole. Holy shit, I got my ass kicked, man. And then I got back to this little bed and breakfast, and I sat there. I thought, I've had this so wrong for so many years, and that's the important thing about food. For the confirmation, go back to the original birthplace for any proper insight to sort of to get your culinary cooking head around what goes into a mole. And then how many different freaking types of mole are there? Holy sugar, it's insane.
I know. I mean, it's just awesome, isn't it? The produce in that country, just in that region, just in the region of Oaxaca, it's just nuts.
Yeah, the market.
Pineapple. They love pineapple. I mean, they put it all over their pork per bill. They have it in their tacos al pastor. I mean, the pineapple out there is just. I mean, I never really got the ham and pineapple pizza, but when I got out there, it all made sense. I was like, it's like a tomato.
I know. But don't get me started on that freaking pineapple on pizza, because that is when I'm going to draw the line, because I get so much shit. Yeah, okay, Hawaii, but don't put pineapple on pizza.
No.
Could you imagine what happened in Milan if I went and suggested a pineapple? I mean,
lynching.
Yeah, lynching. Now Gino can get away with putting anything on his freaking pizza, but pineapple, I'm going to draw the line. I'm going to stop right there.
No, you can make great salsa with that tin pineapple, definitely.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But 18.3 million subscribers. I mean, are even you a little bit kind of blown away by that? That's extraordinary on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's a bit, that's a lot of subscribers when you think of, 3 or 4 million people watching a TV program a night, and all of a sudden you're nearly 18.5 million on that channel. I keep it real. There's some very funny clips. There's some shit we were doing 20 years ago. Some very funny stuff in terms of, I'm in one of the best positions I've ever felt currently, and traveling the world the way we do with Uncharted and working with Disney. We get to the extreme, outposts with food, and I go in, undercover, meet the local chefs, and then challenge them. The challenge is just really to dissect them of their knowledge. And if I get my ass kicked, all fair and well, I wrap up my knives and I put them in my rucksack and I fuck off and I go to the next country. But it's good to get a kick in because you learn so much. And so every time we do that show, I need to do something live there. And I think that's been the biggest insight on the YouTube. It's just, the different cultures and understanding and respecting that. So I started that, as you know, years ago on Channel 4, Great Escapes through Southeast Asia. And I was obsessed with a butter chicken. So I went to India, to the birthplace of that. So I think if I didn't do that, I'd feel lazy, because I need to get to the heartbeat. Where did this start? How did it formulate? What goes in it? And then you respect it when you bring it back home. So YouTube is a great insight to a quick, fast track insight to finding knowledge very, very quickly. And God forbid, working with Marco at the Gavroche, Guy Savoy and Pierre Kaufman, we had no such thing as that kind of knowledge. So that's why the nation's got so good at cooking, because of that YouTube. And I think Justin, head of digital, I think we went through our 3 billionth view last month. So I get that with, Coldplay and Adele, but I don't get 3 billion views on food.
Well, it's like, I do think the dissection, you talked about dissecting it.
Yes.
And I do think that's what you do in your videos. You're always, ever since, from the word go, right back in your career, you're very, very good at breaking things down. It's like when you break an ingredient down into its parts. I think that's what you do to a recipe. So it's very clear for people to follow. And it becomes very non-chefy very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's really important. God bless her, the late Pat Llewellyn, Tilly's godparents. She founded, The Naked Chef. She launched me and Kitchen Nightmares. I remember doing this scrambled egg. So you think you're Billy Big Bollocks with 3 Michelin stars? Make me a scrambled egg. I had no idea that she was rolling, and we put this scrambled egg together. She said, "What are you doing? Fucking around. It's on the heat, off the heat. Now you're getting all poncy." I said, "No, you've got to let this thing breathe. You've got to let it relax. Got to let it." then you've got to stop the cooking with some creme fraiche and stop those eggs from getting watery. And I'm so focused on this freaking scrambled egg. I've got the sourdough toast in the toaster, and it is burnt to shit. And it wasn't a case of leaving that in there. That's in the YouTube video, because that's how natural. I was so focused on this freaking scrambled egg, I burnt my fucking toast. So she said, I'm not taking that out. I said, no, I don't want you to take it out. So I think that's, listen, you take so much flack for being brutally honest. And the only ones that can't stand that level of honesty is the ones that are running away from the truth. So it is what it is. And food's not to be messed around with. And so those little sort of culture beginnings need to be respected, and really respected. So I take that very, very seriously.
Yeah, great. And your kids, so they had a lot of time at home with you. They've been cooking a lot, watching you cook a lot. They can't all love food, but which of them are kind of really, I mean, Tilly's obviously pretty good on it all. Do they all like different things? Was one of them good on pastry? Do they have their own special recipes?
That's a good question. Meg's a little bit foo-foo. She's 23. She sort of changes her mind every day. So one minute she's a vegan, next minute she's vegetarian, next minute she's back with her ex-boyfriend Byron, who I can't wait to meet. And the worst thing I've got in my phone is phone numbers. Every time they're out having dinner, I'll FaceTime him just to check in with him. And Holly's very serious with her food. She's very, 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 very precise and very careful. A really good cook, but she doesn't like cooking sort of in front of the camera. Tilly, who knows? That one can dance. That one can cook. Jack, as you know, is off as a Royal Marine Commando, so he just eats. He eats like a horse, and I don't know how he tucks it away. So it's funny. And then Oscar, too, and he's like a horse as well. So yeah, here's the thing, Tommy. I'm getting nervous that no one wants to take over the business one day.
Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be like Succession. We could actually film it, couldn't we?
Succession in the Ramsey. I don't know. I went sneaked into Oscar's bedroom the other day, and I put a freaking whisk in his bed, hoping he'd wake up with the whisk as opposed to holding a teddy bear. But
just go put this book. Just put this book under the pillow, and then you can just like sleep on it and just like get all the recipes in there.
Take over, please. The old man's ready to retire in 10 years' time. Somebody get a grip, please. Man. Listen, it's a house of foodies. That's the most important.
Yeah, and is it good to be back open and getting back out there a bit?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think if, Christ, we've lost a few good restaurants. What it has done is got rid of all the crap, which is great. So the standards now in the country are even better than ever before. Yeah. Landlords have been so, welcoming back and creating some amazing spaces. But again, we're running around sort of 14,500 covers a week at the moment. And the energy inside these restaurants are incredible. So it's so good to see that, that level of vibrance and that need to get out and socialize. So long may that continue. Can I just quickly say, meat-free Mexican cuisine. I'm so excited for that one next year, which you're publishing. Did you find that hard to put a book together with over 120 recipes with not an ounce of protein in there?
Do you know what? There's so much protein naturally in the Mexican diet. Like all those moles are kind of protein enriched with like pumpkin seeds, cashew nuts, almonds, peanuts. Yeah. And then all the beans you get. There's a ton of protein out there without any meat going near it. So it was quite fun going back to that pre-Hispanic, like ancient diet, quite plant-based on its own. I mean, I love meat. I eat meat, a bit like well-sourced, but it was quite fun, quite a good challenge. I mean, you like your challenges.
I love a challenge. And talk about challenge. I'm just out onto a ranch. We've got a massive challenge today for MasterChef, Back to Win. And it's involving 350 cowboys. I've got to go and sit on a horse, and I've got to go and get these open pits done. We got a beautiful tomahawk steak as a sort of hero for the challenge, and we're cooking for 350 cowboys about 2 hours outside here in sort of 95 degrees of heat. So come over. Come over.
Well, I tell you what, Gordon, I will want to teach you a mola in 10 minutes when the book's out. But
they'll, they'll kill us in Mexico and mole in 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? Is there a fast track mole in 10 minutes?
But it's a brilliant book. I think it's a brilliant book. I think it's absolutely amazing. And it's good. It's great for people to just get in the kitchen and learn some of those tips from you. Go on, 350 cowboys.
I know.
They're gonna
male and female, by the way. Cowgirls and cowboys.
Have you got special protection? You know, when you're cooking on the grill, you need protection.
No. Does this face look like it needs special protection? Those days are long gone. Thanks so much for joining us. My father always used to put
his cricket. Yeah.
He used to put what?
His you know, the thing that protects your crown jewels from in the cricket. What's the thing you call?
The box.
Yeah, the box. Yeah.
Oh, really? Over the grill.
Because the barbecue's always at that kind of groin level.
Ah, gotcha. Nothing worse than a barbecue when you're toasting your nuts. Take care. So nice to talk to you. Lovely. I can't wait to see you when we're back in London.
All right, lovely.
Take care.
Good luck with your challenge. All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye, darling.